I'm live on both network. Thank you for joining. For those who are just coming in, please remember to give your likes if you're on YouTube. And if you are on TikTok, Christmas is at 10. Please remember as well to just tap that screen. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming in, guys. Wherever you are, I'd like to say a good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I have subscribers and followers from all over. Thank you for being here, Storm Chaser. Now, today on our live stream, we'll be speaking about solar power and which system is right for you. So, if at any time you have any question to ask, please feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. Hello, Poochie. Thank you for being here. Hi, Storm Chaser. Thank you for being here. For those who are coming in, either on the YouTube live or the TikTok live, I'm just asking you to either give the thumbs up or tap that screen, whichever platform you're on. And like I say, the topic today is solar power, whichever is right for you. No. Hi, Shawin. Thank you for coming. Hi, lovely Chrissy. Thank you for coming. Now, the thing is with solar power is we all, or most of us living in some countries, have the power of the sun. Now, it's really right, or it's, I shouldn't say right, it's really expected, or it was in us. Nature has put it in us, or God has put it in us for us to get light from the sun. However, mankind is not using the sun as they should have. We are not using the sun like we should have. Please, guys, tap that screen for those who are in TikTok. Thank you for coming to the live. Right. We really don't use the sun like we should have used it. Some of us would really want to use it. However, we don't have the funds to. And for those who are on any platform, please ask your questions. It will be answered once it's in relation to solar power or conservation. Your questions will be answered. Right. So we really don't use the sun like we should have. And we have many options. We can even use the wind as well for powering our homes. Now, some persons really don't understand that even though we may have the power of the sun where solar panels are concerned, there are different options that we can take for our homes. And I'll go through them with you individually. If there is anyone who is not sure as to which one they would want, or which one is best suitable for you, then you can just ask the question. Thank you for liking the live, guys, and thank you for joining. Right, you can ask the question. Hi, Kia, thank you for coming to the live. Thank you, Danego, for coming to the live. And we have both platforms running. We have the YouTube studio running, as well as we have the, oh, you're from Indonesia. Thank you for coming, Kia. Please remember to press the like button. Right, so we have different options to go in solar. And we're going to look on each of them. For one, we're going to speak about the most, I wouldn't say obvious, the ones that persons want the most. Hi, Maurice. Thank you for coming to the live. Terry Fabulous as well. My friend, Jamaica moderator. Right. So you have the option of going totally solar. Thank you for the like. And thank you for tapping the screen, guys. Right. So you have the option of going totally solar. And for most persons, including myself, that was the ultimate goal. Hi, Rosanna. Thank you for coming to the live. Now, the ultimate goal was to go solar totally. And it's quite understandable and it was quite expected because we really, I am great, Rosanna. Thank you for joining. Right. And it was expected that we would go solar totally. Hi, Kidney Warrior. Right. It was expected that we go solar totally. And it's because it's good morning your side, it's actually night my side, right? And it was because it was expected that we don't want to have any form of reliance, any at all, on the power company. Now, yes, the reason why we don't want to have any reliance on the company is because we don't want to pay a bill. We don't want to have that monthly bill to pay every single month. And to what is happening now, it is going up steadily. It is going up steadily. So the best thing to do is to try and find a way to prevent us paying a bill. So most of us decide that if we do go solar, we want to go the solar route where we don't have any reliance at all on them. So we're using our microwaves, we're using our television set, we're playing our music, we're using our computers or our laptops, and we really don't want to rely on them. So we decide to go fully solar. Now the name of that type of solar is off grid. And hi, Motorola King. Now, the reason why it is called off grid is because we are not in any at all connected to the power company. So they call it off grid. And if you think of the wording too, it's really applicable to call it off grid. And going off grid is what most persons really wanted. We don't want to have any form of ties to the power company. As a matter of fact, I have the experience where some persons going off grid, they set up different plugs or sockets for the light bulbs so that they can use it differently. So take for instance, you have your house is already wired to be connected to the power company. They do another set of rewiring, not in the same format. They may use the one that is surface mounted, and they put that on the wall and set up their own little plugs in each room. So they have a plug that is connected to the power company and a plug that is connected to their solar system. Now, using that way, that if you think about it, they are thinking of going fully off grid. While you have the other persons who, thank you for coming to the live, guys who are on TikTok, right? You have the other set of persons now who they pass their system through the power panel. However, they have a switching operation where one switch, it will be connected to the power company, and the other switch out is to switch it off from the power company, and then you're now fully solar. So yes for that. Hi, Michaela. Yes for that. I do understand where they are going with that as well. So that is the off-grid system. Now, for the off-grid system, guys, it just doesn't only need panels. You need more than panels. You need, take for instance, you need batteries, you need panels, you need inverters, and you need, or an inverter, I shouldn't say inverters, you need an inverter, and you need a charge controller. And let me explain to you what all of those item does. So you need the solar panels to accept the sun's ray when it hits. So you have some solar panels now. Hi Rika, thank you for coming. DK Kitson. Hi Kimani. Right. So you have it when the lights would hit that panel. Now, some of the panels that they are making now, they are so sensitive that even with a glare, it will be accepting some form of power. It is so sensitive, and that's the one that we want, because especially if you live in a country that has at a certain time of the year you have periodic rains, you want the panels even when there's a glare, because these things differentiate daylight from nighttime. Hi Andre. Hi Miss Ambitious, thank you for coming to the live. Right, so even if you have day and night, you can distinguish day and night even if the rain falls, because in the day there is some form of light. Mind you, you may not have the sun, but you have some form of light where you can say, oh, it's daylight. Now, the panels will receive that light or that glare, that sun ray, and it will now take it to a charge controller. Now, what the charge controller does is allow your panel to charge the battery. And you have to have batteries, guys. You must have batteries, because for the off-grid system, that's where the reliance is, in the batteries. So you have the panels coming, feeding through the charge controller to charge the batteries. And the reason why it has to feed through that charge controller is because, hi Dimples, thank you for liking the live, guys. Right, now the reason why it hits the charge controller is so that too much current doesn't hit those batteries. It does, because remember, those batteries that we are now getting has to be of a certain voltage. It's not 110, it has to be either 10, it will be either at some 12-volt batteries, 24, it depends on the system that you have. 24-volt, I've seen persons use 6-volt batteries. So you want it to be able to, once the sunlight reaches it, it will not give, if it's a 24-volt battery, it will not be pushing 110 there. Understand? Please, guys, if you do have questions, you can ask. Right, so it will hit the charge controller, which in turn will now charge the batteries. Then leading from the batteries, it now comes to an inverter. And what the inverter does now, because your batteries are DC or direct current, the inverter will now receive current from those DC batteries, and it will convert it to 110 volt, because we rarely use 110 volt at home unless you live in a country that use 220. Whatever the conversion is, it has to convert the power to whatever it is that you use at home. Hi Terry and Barrett, thank you for joining the live. Hi Tatilisa. Right, so it has to convert it to whatever it is that you have at home. You cannot decide that you're not going to put in an inverter and getting that DC current, it will not be able to run your appliances at home. For homes, we really use either 110, some persons get 120, we call it 110 volts some of the times. So at homes, in our homes, we really use either the 120 or the 240 volt. Now, whatever system you get needs to be it needs to be able to convert that DC current to AC. And that's all that there is in an off-grid system. And remember, when I say off-grid, you're really relying on the system that you have set up at home for your power. Then now you have those off-grid system. I'm not going to the other system yet. Just one more word. Those off-grid system are really um desirous because persons tend to want those in order to just get rid of them. Who in here don't receive a high or have never received a high electricity bill? And as a matter of fact, I don't think there's any of us in here who can say that our light bill will come next month for $2,000 or $1,000. We can't predict that. We can't. The only way to eliminate those light bills or to at least reduce those light bills is to have a solar power system in itself. So now you have the off-grid system, which most persons, most of us, even myself, would love to have one of those systems. However, there are pros and cons to it. And because most of us are, hi, Bloomer Stefan, thank you for joining the live. Now, because most of us are desirous of having these or this type of system, that's the only one we think about. So when we go to suppliers and they ask, what type of system do you have? You don't know of anymore. You just know the one that you don't want to be paying a bill. And that's where we're left. That's a problem that we're having, where because we don't know of any other solar power, that's the one that sticks in our mind to be totally not relying on the power company. Then now we have another system where we have what is known as the hybrid. And the hybrid is sort of twofold, meaning it allows you to be attached to the power company, where in case you don't have electricity solely from the panels that you have there, then you can now draw power from your power company. However, the other side of it is, if you maintain or if you have a system that is totally fully, remember it's twofold, so you have the part where you can get electricity from your power company, and the other one that you have the batteries. Now, some persons tend to have this type of system where they're able to sell power to the power company. And they do this especially with the hybrid system. Thank you for joining the live, guys. Please, for those who are coming in, please press that like button, tap that screen, or if you're on YouTube, just give the thumbs up. Thank you very much. Right, so you have the ability to sell your power company electricity, which is good. You have some persons who are against selling the power company electricity. However, if you really think of it, if you don't sell them, the fact that you're attached to the grid, it means you're getting the electricity nevertheless. And if you really think of it, which one would you rather? They get it and not pay for it, or they get it and still able to give you something for it? We would all like to have something. Mind you, it's not that great or vast amount. However, you're still getting back something for it. So you have to look on the both sides. Now, with the hybrid system, you would need the same things that you have with the off-grid system, the same batteries. However, it has a grid tied aspect to it. Now, you have some persons who take that and they complain nevertheless that their electricity bill is still high. Now, these things will happen if you have, I wouldn't say, there's a programming aspect to it where you're able to program your your system so that in case your batteries drain, it will start charging. Now, majority of the times, what you find when persons complain that they have a system, however, their electricity bills are still high, it tends to happen when the system is charging your batteries, especially at nights. Now, in all honesty, we tend to use more electricity at nights when we, if you think about it on our normal day-to-day basis, because especially for those of us who work in the day, we're not really at home. So we tend to use our system or our electricity mostly at nights for watching television, using our computer, using our laptops, turning on a light. We get home in the evening, we're going into that refrigerator. We get home in the evening, we want to warm up something to eat. So we're using the electricity at that time. In the days when we're not here, then we're hardly using anything unless we should leave some things plugged in that is not being used, like we leave our microwaves plugged in, some of us leave our washing machines plugged in, our television set plugged in, then we're really using up that electricity. However, we're using what is known as phantom electricity. And for those of you who don't understand what phantom electricity, hi, Humble Kid. Thank you for still being here, Bloomer Stefan. Right. So for those of us who don't understand what phantom electricity is, it's those appliances that you leave plugged in that you are not using and it's still pulling your current. And yes, there are um, appliances that you will leave plugged in. You have some persons who never plug out their television set. You have some persons who leave the microwaves constantly plugged in. You have some persons as well, because of where the washing machine power is, it is left plugged in at all times. Thank you for joining, Raps and Francis. Thank you for being here. For those who are coming in, please press just tap the screen if you're on TikTok, and for those of you who are on YouTube, just press that like button. Now, when we leave those things plugged in, then our electricity will go. For those of us who have experienced a rough summer, then an air condition was probably running, especially on those days that you were at home on Saturdays and on Sundays. We have that electricity running. Now, yes, you can save when you have that system. However, what you find sometimes is that when you do have a system, some of us take it for granted and we just use up the electricity that we have. Meaning, because we know we have a system on the roof, then we leave that television set plugged in, or we leave the microwave plugged in, even our laptops and the computers. We leave it plugged in. No, hi Tariq, thank you for coming to the live. Hi Jerry Jermaine, thank you for coming. Ever blessed, same. Right. So we leave these things plugged in, and it would be good if we can conserve. Because if you're running a battery, the ideal thing with the two systems that I told you about, the hybrid one and the off-grid, they both use batteries. And batteries for those two systems will be what cause your cost to go up without you even realizing it. If you were to get a quotation from some of these suppliers, you'll see that the most expensive thing on that quotation are the batteries. And then depending on your usage, ideally we were told when solar was coming in that the batteries would at least last you between 10 to 15 years. Batteries now are lasting persons 2 years. And if the batteries are expensive, then you'll find that every 2 years you have to buy a battery. The last cost I saw for a battery was somewhere in the, I think it was 300,000. And just thinking of you having a system that has 8 of those batteries, just think of it. Will you be able to replenish those batteries every 2 or 3 years? Is that at least in any way even possible with our current cost that is facing us? I don't think so. So the best thing to do, guys, if you do have a system, because we don't have the money to buy the batteries, the best thing to do majority of the times is to just conserve and see how best we can conserve. Now there is another system, and please guys, if you thank you for joining, Paul. If you do have question, please put it in the chat. I am seeing those joining, and please tap that screen, press that like button, share the live for persons who are not here and who would love to get information on going solar and as to which one is best or which system is right for you. You have now another system, which is and we're talking about the solar panels. We're not going the wind turbine aspect of it today. Now you have, hi Diamond, you have the other system where you are totally on the grid. Remember we spoke about the off-grid, we talk about the hybrid, and now we're talking about the system. Hi, Volq Mob. Thank you for joining the live. Please tap that screen so that we can get some likes so that the algorithm can push out the live stream. Right. So you have, for those of you who are joining the live, we only go for an hour. We don't do this teaching live for more than an hour. And thank you very much. Now, when we have, it's Nutmeg. Thank you for joining. It's Nutmeg. Right. So when you have the last system, which is the grid tied system. Now the grid tied system doesn't use batteries. It doesn't. It does have its pros and cons. And this is not a system where most residential persons gravitate to, and which I do understand why they don't gravitate to it. Hi, Ronald. Thank you for joining. I do understand why some persons don't gravitate to this type of system. And it's because of they are still relying on the power company. Remember, our mindset is that we need to get rid of them totally. And the only way we can get rid of them totally is to not rely on them any at all. Now, let me explain to you what the grid tied system is. For the grid tied system, Storm Chaser is saying that a lot of us get it confused most of the times. Yes, we do. Now, with the grid tied system, you have you don't have batteries, but you have the panels. You also have Instead of having one major inverter, you have possibly one inverter serving two panels. So if you have, say, 30 panels, then you will have 15 microinverters. Now the microinverters are more on the outside, while for the other two systems, the inverter will be on the inside of the house at a nice little spot. Some persons tend to cover the system or have the system in a room specifically for the grid tied. You really don't need that. You don't need that because everything is mostly on the outside, and then the wires come in to connect to your panel. You know the panel boxes that have the switches inside there, right? Everything is connected there. Now, for that grid tied system, the issue that we mostly have is we can't get rid of the power company. And let me explain to you. Now, if you have a system that is pushing, say you have a system that is pushing 1 kilowatt, and for that 1 kilowatt system, whatever you use in the day should be using up whatever it is that your system is producing. Now, if your system is producing, say, only 250 kilowatts for the day, and with that 250 kilowatt for the day, you are demanding or you're using, say, 1,500. It means that 1,250 kilowatt really was coming from the power company because you're grid tied. You're grid tied. Hi, Handel. Thank you for coming to the live. Right. So because you're grid tied, you are taking electricity, any shortfall during the day, you're taking it from the power company. However, at night, when your panels are not getting any form of light at all, then you're pulling from the power company 100%. And that's the thing why some persons, they don't like to go grid tied, because they don't want any form of pulling from the power company any at all. So they decide that this is not for them. As a matter of fact, once they hear, because the suppliers will tell you, oh, there's another system. This grid tied system is mostly sold to companies that have a manufacturing plant where they can move their manufacturing to the daytime, not having the night shift, or during the night they may have persons not using as much machinery during the night. During the night, they are not using as much machinery, so they don't have that reliance on the power company at night. And then because of how much panels they have, they are able to sell back a greater amount to the power company. And yes, our power company buys your electricity. Storm Chaser is saying, so the dual is expensive then? Yes, Storm. The dual is the more expensive one of all three because you have the two ways. The dual, you can have it where you make that money off it. However, some persons really don't make that amount of money off it, or some persons will make the amount of money off it because they are producing quite a number of electricity. But what you find sometimes is that some persons buy not a big system. They just buy one that they can use. And because of that, sometimes they don't make the money that they are expecting. Some persons like the bigger companies, you'll find them, if they use 1 kilowatt, they may have probably a 10,000 kilowatt system where the other 9,000 kilowatt can be sold back to the power company. So when you have the grid tied system, the bigger you go, the more you can make from the power company. Now, with that system, like I said, some of us don't want to go that route. I didn't want to go that route either, and that's the route I end up going because of two things. I went that route because it was the cheapest route at the time. I can't tell you what the price is now because I don't know it. So for me, it was the cheapest route at the time. And I went that route as well because I was told, oh, you can sell back electricity to the power company. No, selling back for me will mean me getting back something. And yes, like I said, if I didn't sell, then they would have um, gotten my electricity for free. Motorola King on YouTube is saying more kilowatt is more equipment it can run. Yes, yes, Motorola King. The more kilowatt is the more equipment that it can really run. However, the more kilowatt is also the less you use out of that kilowatt once you're grid tied is the more you'll be able to sell back to the power company. And that's what we really want. Some of us, you have some persons who will be able to collect a check. I would love to be able to collect a check. However, it would probably mean that I use less. That's what it would mean. I probably use less and I sell back more. That's what it would mean. Um, Thank you for coming to the live, guys. If you're coming in, please remember to tap the screen, share the like so that other persons can benefit. Right. So you have the hi MS Food World. Thank you for coming to the live. So you have those three systems, and for those three systems, we have to make the choice as to which one is best for us. The I For me, the system that I have is a grid tied system. I would really love to go off grid. However, the off grid would cost me too much, and it's not a one time cost, and that's where the issue is. It's an ongoing cost because these batteries will need to be replaced from time to time. So you'll have to replace those batteries, and on top of replacing those batteries, it will mean that you're constantly spending. It's something that you're not going to be able to get rid of. I've seen where persons have these off-grid system and they're not they're not able to keep up with these batteries. Now, because of that, they just revert right back to the power company. Now, the thing is, you really don't want to have, how much was it now? You really don't want to be going back. You really want to stick to it. Because remember, it's also a benefit for you. Storm Chaser is saying everyone would love off grid, but the money for the battery. That's true, Storm. You really don't want to have to be going back. And one of the reasons why you don't want to be going back is because you want to stick it out. It's also a benefit for you if you're able to use your electricity and having to pay minimal or nothing for it. Because especially when you do get older, you don't want to have to be worried about some type of bill like that. Because I'm telling you, yes, Storm, it's rough. I'm telling you, things are not easy, especially nowadays. It's not. The cost of living is so high that we'll have to try and find things to even eat nowadays. It's rather rough. So if you can find yourself doing something or going solar to reduce your bill or to eliminate a bill, please do so. Try that route because it's a better route. Now, the thing is with the grid tied system that I really don't like. However, I know of it as a con was the fact that if there is a power outage, I will lose power as well. Now, when I understood, hi Danai Wallace, thank you for joining the live. When I understood why I would lose electricity as well, then it was thank you for the like, guys. Um, I understood why I would have to lose electricity when there's a power outage, even in the day when I'm using those panels. I understood that if I had electricity at home, whenever those power the suppliers of the power came to do whatever repairs it was on that light wire, then because I'm selling back electricity, it would electrocute them. So I do understand, and that was my only drawback for it. Hi, Jermaine. Thank you for coming to the live. That was my only drawback for it, where I had to still rely on them. And if my neighbor lose electricity, then once it's a outage or something caused the grid to stop working, then I'm going to lose electricity as well. You also, with the grid tied system, it is always recommended when you have that type of system to do as much as you can in the day, because that's when your power is at peak. That's when you're getting that free electricity. So take for instance or like for me, hi Blessed, hi Wilfania, and pretty gal Ali. Thank you for coming. Right. So take for instance for me, I used to wash on a Friday night and hang out my clothes the Friday night to catch the Saturday morning sun. However, when I went solar, that was a no-no, because washing on a Friday night would mean that all of my electricity would have been taken from the power company. So what I did now was to wash on a Saturday morning as soon as the electricity, as soon as the sun comes up, that's when I wash. There is not much I would be really able to do. I would use other form of electricity, but there's not much you can do in the day. What I do at nights though is I have the timer. I showed you guys the timer last week. I have the timer on my refrigerator, and it's not the timer that comes with the refrigerator, please guys. For those of you who are just joining, it's not the timer that comes with the refrigerator. It's the timer that has it's programmable. So you program it to shut off your refrigerator at a certain time and restart it back at a certain time. And for that, I don't use my my refrigerator for 24 hours. You know, some persons think the refrigerator is a 24 hours item. It's not. It's not. So because of that, my refrigerator is not operating for 24 hours of the day. There are some things that does operate for 24 hours for me, and that will be um, my internet. My internet box is 24 hours. My cable box isn't. My cable box is only turned on when it needs to be used. But my internet box is. The CCTV that I have, the camera system is on 24 hours. Because you know you need that form of eyes to see what is happening around you for 24 hours, even if you're not at home. You need that as well. So, hi Blake, hi Lens, hi One Nuts Rain. Thank you for joining the live. Right, so the you have those that are on during the day. And because it is on during the day, hi Michelle, hi GMax, Prods, right? Now, because it is on in the day, then you will find that those are pulling in electricity. And those are the things that I only have as a 24 hours. Some of which we have for 24 hours doesn't have to be 24 hours. I can tell you. It doesn't have to be 24 hours because some of what we are doing for the 24 hours is only wasting electricity. So we have to think about which one of those systems is best for us. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have to be the one where you have the you're not relying on the power company totally. And you have to think about that one as well, because while we don't want to have that reliance on the power company, we have to think about the cost. And sometimes if the benefit outweigh the cost, then that's the one for you. However, the benefit that we really want is to pay less. So if we find that while you're not paying anything for electricity now, will you be able to save that money to buy 8 batteries in 2 years? And that is some of the reasons why some of these persons revert to start paying a bill. That's why some of them start paying a bill. Because when you think about it, the price that they are now paying, probably a light bill may come up to say $20,000. And at $20,000, at the end of 2 years, you would probably save $480,000 thereabout, right? 480, little more than 480. Probably, yeah, probably about 480, right? Because 12 twos is 24, so 480,000. Now you saving that 480,000. When you really check it, it can only buy one battery, but you need 8. You do need 8 batteries, and these batteries are not cheap. So you have to sit and think about it. Ask the suppliers as well, because you don't want to just go in and have them quoting you on a battery operated system. Most of them will want to quote you on the battery operated system because those are the most expensive option. Hi 4Js, thank you for coming to the live. Thank you for the live. Right, so most of them will want to quote you on that expensive system. However, check around, think about those 3 systems and think about which one is right for you. No one can tell you what is right for you. Storm Chaser is saying, oh my God. Right. No one can tell you really what is right for you. And the reason why they can't tell you what is right for you is because you have it's you're the one who has to live with it. You're the one who has to live with it. And when you really check it out, A $20,000 light bill, high 4Js, right? A $20,000 light bill is rather cheap for some persons. It's rather cheap. I know for me, I would probably be crying right now paying a $20,000 per month light bill. You see cost of living right there? You see it's getting more expensive? Where a $20,000 light bill, we don't have food yet, while some of us is barely working, say we work at $50,000 to pay a $20,000 light bill. We have to pay water bill. We have to go back to work. We have to eat. Trust me. So the best thing to do is to try to bring down those bills. Cut it down, reduce it, see how best we can reduce it. And if we are able to reduce it, then you'll find that it is easier. And Motorola King is saying, oh yes, smart. Yes, we have to try and reduce it. If we get it reduced, yes, Storm Chaser is saying this is serious. Hi, OD51. Hi, Dwayne. Hi, Nabukwa. Right. So if we get down those bills, then it will be easy. Just getting them down. And that's a goal. That's a goal if we're able to get it down. It will be interesting if we're able to get down a 20,000 electricity bill without going solar. It's doable. It can be done. You just need to know the tips and the tricks to get it done, but it can be done. And as a matter of fact, if you're really planning to go solar with those exorbitant light bills that you're getting, the best way to go forward is to bring down those bills. If you carry down those bills, you'll be surprised to see that whatever system you're quoted, because they're going to use those electricity bills, or what some persons do, what some suppliers do is to give you is have an energy audit done where they come and attach things to your panel, the panel box, and from there they tell you to just do what you do regularly. Now, when you do what you do regularly, what they are really telling you is that, hey, you're using that electricity that the power company is really charging you. That's what they're doing. However, if you manage to carry down that bill, reduce the amount of consumption that you have monthly, and have that energy audit done, then you'll be quoted on a cheaper system because of your savings. So try and get it down. And if you get it down, then you can move forward as to which system you're really trying to get. Thank you for the tapping, guys. Storm Chaser is saying, go to the power company and you will hear the same cost. Hi, Ian Murray. Yes, you will hear the same cost, and that is as a matter of fact, Storm Chaser, the power company in our country, I don't know if they still do it, but they provide, you can get quotations from them for a system. Hi, Ian Murray. You can get quotation from them for a system. Hi, Milak. You can get quotation from them for a system, and they tend to quote on hybrid. That's what their quote is. The first time they quoted me on a hybrid system, I think it was somewhere just years ago. It was something like $3 million years ago. When I say years, it was years ago, before I even got my system. It was years ago. And at the time, I was shocked. Some chasers saying, and more too, that's enough money. Yes, it is. I was really shocked because at the time I was wondering, where am I going to get the money to even pay for that? And they don't, well, possibly they were thinking of me getting a loan to go that route. And at the time, I think the amount of money that they were giving as loans from the housing company was, how much was it? I think it was 1 point something million. So it would probably, high val Virgo, it would probably mean that I needed to find more money to go that route. However, I think sometimes, sometimes they say delay is danger. Sometimes delay doesn't have to be danger. Sometimes delay will work with you, because I was thinking at the time that the longer I wait to go solar, then the more it is that I would have to pay. However, um, that did not work. When I waited, when I waited to go solar, I paid a cheaper cost. And it worked out for me in the end, where I'm able to save on my electricity bill monthly. I'm not paying, I do pay a bill. However, I'm selling back as well to the power company. Hi, Ronaldo. I do sell back to the power company. However, I am using my electricity mostly in the days, especially because of the cloud cover that we tend to have now. I'm not selling as much as I used to, and especially now because we have um, longer nights. So you find that night is coming quicker. I'm not selling back as much. I tend to sell back a lot of electricity, especially during the summer when the sun is really hot. So that's another option too. Um, like I say, you need to prepare yourself, having some systems in place that you can reduce those electricity bills. So we can see what we can do to just reduce those bills, and it's doable. It really is doable. Now, you may be wondering then, if I'm the person who determines my own system, which one is really right? Hi, Orville. Hi, Griffith. Which one is really right for me? What my suggestion to you is, write down the 3 solar panel systems that exist. And with those 3 systems that exist, when you do write them down, see how best, see how best you can identify the pros and the cons of having each of those systems, especially those with the batteries. Think of it, what your savings would be, and what your actually what you'll be actually required to spend in the next 2 to 3 years, if you can afford it. Think of it as a lifetime investment as well, where you're making up your mind now that you don't want to change. You don't want to ever go back to where you're coming from. So if it's not something that will make you not go back, or if there's even that idea where something can take you back to where you're coming from, meaning you're just going to stop the system and just go back to the power company, then it means that whichever system you had chosen was not the right one for you. So don't look on it like, yes, you want a system and the system that you want is off grid. No. Think of the others as well, and see how best, when you sit and you write that down, which one will work for you. Remember, with the other two, with the hybrid system value That will be the most expensive one. But you'll be able to sell back your electricity to the power company, so you'll be able to make back something. And with the grid tied system, you'll be able to make back something. With the off grid system, you will not be able to make back anything. You'll not be able to sell any form of electricity to your power company. And as a matter of fact, it depends on where you are living, because some power companies don't pay you for your electricity. What some power companies do is have you setting off whatever it is that you sell to them. They set it off for the next month bill, or they put it into your account, and when you're using electricity, you use they say that you're using what you had in reserve. Hi London, thank you for liking the live, guys. Right, so you're using whatever it is that you have in reserve. Now with that, I would love to invite you to just ask your questions. The YouTube persons, I am now going to close the live. I want to thank you, YouTubers, for coming to the live stream. It has been a great journey, explaining to you the different types of system that is available for you to choose. And I hope you really choose wisely. Thank you again, and good night. For those who are